What's up, everybody? And today we are doing another update on Ukraine, Russia. This might be the last one for a little while, and we might be moving on a little bit unless there's some major updates. I wanted to do this one today because there has been a big update. Something that I said in the previous video that I think is going to happen did happen, and I kind of want to address that. But before we get started, question of the day comes from Mission Foiled. It says, question for Original Human: what do you think about Putin's terminal health theories and puffy face? So I've actually heard this and seen videos of this. Not videos, sorry, pictures of Putin looking kind of bloated with kind of like a swollen face. At the end of the day, when it comes to people in very high positions of power, we're never going to know what their health truly is like. And this goes for Putin, this goes for the president of the US, this goes for the royalty in the UK. Like, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. I think even more when it comes to people like Putin, who are really, really secretive. So I'm not surprised at all that we're not going to hear anything about it. There were rumors about him doing some crazy stuff like taking baths in antler blood because it's supposed to be good for your health or something, and doing all this wacky stuff, but it's all rumors at the end of the day. We know that Putin tries to put on this strong face and it doesn't necessarily always work. So we don't know if he's unhealthy or not. He probably is unhealthy. The stress is probably getting to him. He's still only human. Stress affects everyone. And he could probably be feeling the stress. But at the end of the day, it's not really going to affect him being a billionaire, is it? So I have no sympathy for him in any way, shape, or form. Thank you for your question. If you want your question answered, leave it in the comment section down below, and we'll certainly get to that. Again, as always, we're going to be looking at the sources at the BBC. Look at my green screen here. A little bit of my bed's popping out. Ah, it's even worse now! You can't see the behind the scenes, guys. This is the behind the scenes. Anyway, on to some more serious matters. I wanted to address this because I did say it in the previous video a couple days ago. I said Russia are going to be killing civilians like left, right, and center now. They're going to be doing that because they're bitter. They know they've pretty much lost this war, and they just want to take revenge, basically, in the cheapest, most horrific way possible. And we're seeing that, come to fruition, like I said, unfortunately. Ukraine says at least 50 people are dead and dozens wounded after rockets hit the train station in the city of Kramatorsk, I apologize if I get that wrong, in eastern Ukraine. Thousands of people were hit at the station at the time as they fled Russian attacks, says Donetsk regional governor. Russia denies involvement in the strike, with a Kremlin spokesman saying it had no scheduled missions in that area. I mean, we're seeing the same thing play over and over and over again, and this is another reason as to why remember when a few Ukraine videos ago, I updated people and I addressed some of the comments saying why you always believe in Ukraine sources, and this again is just turning that same wheel as always. Civvies get killed by Russians. It's blatantly obvious. Russia denies it. Say that they weren't even doing it. More civvies get killed by Russians. Russia denies it, as always. Someone gets poisoned by Russians. Russians deny it, as always. So we're seeing this kind of cycle of untrustworthiness when it comes to Russia. There's no surprise here, right? Of course, when we found out that this many people died, of course Russia are going to deny it, right? Like, they're going to always deny it. They don't really care at this point if their integrity is spoiled, really, do they? Like, it's just like common occurrence for Russia now, which really sucks because you can never take anything they say anymore for granted. If they're like, we're going to help you, we can't even take that for granted. If they like, in the future, if they're like, we're going to help you, we can't take that for granted. We can't take anything. Like, we've got plenty of oil we're going to sell. We can't take that for granted. You know what I mean? Like, we can't trust anything they say anymore. Russia is stepping up its offensive in the Donbass region in eastern Ukraine as it withdraws from the north. This is something I want to point out on the map, and again, something that I predicted in the previous video. Cities there have come under heavy Russian attack overnight, with residents sheltering basements and Severodonetsk hit by rocket fire. I wish I could pronounce some of these towns better. I think what I might do is I might take some sort of class on pronunciations in the Ukraine-Russia language, because because I feel like it would be much more beneficial for these videos if I can pronounce some of these places and people better. UK PM Boris Johnson is meeting German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Olaf, isn't he from Frozen? From talks, will give a joint news conference later. This is being recorded on Friday the 8th at 11 o'clock Central Time. So we'll see what comes out of this. European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen has gone to Kiev for talks with President Zelensky. Okay, so we don't really know much about that. Again, things behind the scenes we're not going to know much of. But let's have a look at some of these updates right here. Ukraine, 6 weeks of devastation and defiance. Again, 6 weeks it's been now, and Ukraine is still holding them off. Russia's significant losses may cause too much of a public stir. I mean, I feel like the people of Russia, the civilians of Russia, the people who are against this war, which there are plenty of them. If you're a Russian watching this and you're against this war, hats off to you. They lost kind of they lost the faith in the government a long time ago before this, I think. So no surprise there. As fighting intensifies in East Ukraine, a scramble to escape. Sorry, my dyslexia. Again, this is something I want to talk about when we go over to the maps. Population of about 720,000. The unthinkable happened here. EU chief visits butcher. Yeah, apparently it was pretty bad there. Putin makes rare public appearance. Interesting. Vladimir Putin has made a public appearance in the funeral of ultra-nationalist Russian politician Vladimir Zhirinovsky. Footage from memorial service in Moscow shows Putin laying a bunch of flowers and blah, blah, blah. He died at age 75 from COVID. He was... Yeah. Well, after going to that question earlier about Putin's health, I don't think he would have made an appearance if he was really that sick. So there you go. 50 dead. This is the main story of the day at the train station. There are 98 people in total were taken to hospital after the attack. Of the 98, 16 were children, 46 were women, and 36 were men. That's horrific. That is absolutely horrific. How dare Russia do that and then turn around and say it wasn't them? Cowards. Absolute cowards they are. Okay. Let's move over to the map real quick. You won't think after showing this right now, after the last video, there's that many updates. Obviously, all this has been taken back. There's still fighting here around the Kiev area. I guarantee there's still fighting in all these areas. Basically here. And let me see if I can get this. Oh, let me clear that. Basically, this is where I'm presuming, and I'm going to try and follow the map around here. This is where I'm presuming that a lot of the fighting's kind of taking place right now. But we don't know much about it. We do know... So this is where the red was originally. And this is what we know. Russia have retreated and Ukraine have pushed them off. And this is where they were. So we know that... I mean, look at this. 26 bodies were extracted from rubble. 132 bodies were shot dead and found in... Jesus. 700 civilians killed during Russian attack in the city. 700 civilians killed. Oh my days. We know that it's starting to slow down here, but there's probably still a little bit of fighting going on there. The big thing is here. Russia are advancing here. But I want to show you something real quick. Look at... And this is me talking from... Seeing the consistency throughout this war, it's been 6 weeks now, seeing the consistency about this, right? They've obviously taken all this red power. A lot of it's disputed, there's still fights there, and so on and so forth, right? I've said this over and over again. The only way Russia are able to take ground is by shelling and then pushing forward. That's the only... Because they're not good enough fighters on the ground. The tanks are they're dreadful. The equipment's outdated. Everything's dreadful. When it comes to boots on the ground for Russia. So look at this front line here. Look at all this front line. And let me get... God, you can even say there. This front line here. Look how many shellings here. 4 killed in a strike. More shelling. More shelling. More killed. More shelling. More shelling. Look at that. It's the only way they're able to push forward is by shelling and moving, which is a dreadful tactic because they know for a fact civilians are there. So all they're doing is bombing everything, killing everyone, and pushing in. That's the only way they know to win, unfortunately. Sure enough, they will run out of this equipment. They will run out eventually, and they'll have to be pushed back. Ukraine will push them back. Right now, this is the heated zone. Their initial tactic was to come down here from Belarus, take Kiev, and kind of strangle the country, because Kiev is like, obviously it's the capital, but it's also, one of the most politically powerful places in the country. And that's what they tried to do, and they failed. So now they're going with the old school tactic of just bombarding and going forward from the east. But again, it's not working. It is working right now. They're shelling and pushing, but it doesn't mean it's going to be working in another 6 weeks' time. They're probably going to fail in another 6 weeks' time. So there's the update. My predictions are that probably all this blue area will be taken in the next few weeks, I'm sure. Hopefully not. Some of these major cities are probably the ones that are holding them off. But it wouldn't surprise me if they don't go any further than that blue line, if I'm honest with you. The edge of this blue line. They can forget about all this. They've lost all that. I think by the time they get to the edge of that blue line, they're probably going to be retreating after that. Mark my words. So that is the story of the day. Again, there may be a few days now, or maybe even longer, where I don't do any more updates until, we hear something major coming out. I wanted to do one today because of this train station attack, which was really heartbreaking, but kind of went along with what I was saying about they're killing civilians on the way out. It's dreadful, we know. But they're going to do it because that's the type of people they are, aren't they? The cowards. So just bear that in mind. I know there's people from Ukraine that watch this. Please remember, if you're watching this, to stay safe, have a plan B, and make sure you are enjoying every second with your family that you can, because you never know what tomorrow brings. Okay, guys? Not to sound disastrous, but Ukraine are winning. They are winning, and they're going to push Russia back. It's just a matter of time. But until then, just stay safe, guys, okay? Make sure you're getting food and water for your family, priorities. Make sure you have a plan B if anything happens, and making sure you're keeping on comms and finding out what's happening in your local area. Members, you're beautiful, you're amazing, I love you. I couldn't do this without you. Honestly, couldn't make videos every single day if it wasn't for these beautiful people right here. So thank you for supporting the channel as much as you do. I truly appreciate it. Links down below to my merch. Also, get a question down below in the comment section if you want your question answered in the next video. Other than that, I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.